Chris, Eric, Matt, Xavier, Lori, Trenton, Jeff, and Kevin. And here are my note cards. Okay, here we go. A dear friend of mine tells an emotional story of the day in 1993 that she stood on the swollen banks of the Mississippi River looking at her house on Kaskaskia Island in St. Genevieve County. Floodwaters overtook her house and all of her possessions floated downstream. The National Weather Service website, updated on March 29, 2019, predicts major to moderate flooding this year. My experience with the river is not so personal. I have, however, done some extensive research on the topic, and I would like to share that with you. Today, I'm going to tell you about the river itself, the watershed of the river, current river levels, and historic floods of the past. To start with, the National Parks Service website, updated November 24, 2018, tells of the river in its entirety. It originates in northern Minnesota as a trickle flowing out of Lake Itasca. It is 2,348 feet in length, and it is the second largest river in our nation. If the size of the river seems impressive, let me tell you what I've learned about its watershed. This map, Mississippi River watershed, is highlighted in yellow on this map. It is the largest watershed in the United States. I quote the National Weather Service Ocean Service website, updated June 25th, 2018, as defining a watershed as an area of land that channels rainfall and snowmelt into creeks, streams, and rivers to eventual outflow points such as reservoirs, bays, and the ocean. This watershed drains 1.15 million miles of land from all or part of 31 states and 2 Canadian provinces. Now that I have told you about the river, I'm going to tell you about the current river levels. This chart shows the river levels from 2011 until April 4th of 2019. As you can see, this red line right here is the flood stage, which is 27 feet. Reporter Don Pritchard for the Sun-Times News stated on April 5th, 2019, that the river appears to have crested. The river has continued its slow descent, and today it is currently at 37 feet. Ladies and gentlemen, do not let that fool you. The National Weather Service has also reported that the snow and ice pack that feeds the Mississippi River watershed has yet to melt. 13% of the upper Midwest is still covered in ice and snow of up to an inch or more. In addition, CBS News reporter Jeff Bartelli warns of a major storm in his article, Blockbuster Blizzard Could Impact States Hit by Bomb Cyclone weeks ago, published April 9th, 2019. This storm is predicted to bring heavy rain and snowfall to the area that encompasses the Mississippi River watershed. Bartelli concludes his article by saying, attention will need to shift to melting snow and runoff. There is no telling how significant the flooding will be, but it is something that clearly needs monitoring. This brings me to my next topic, historic floods in the past in our region and their devastating effects. Author Kimberly Amato wrote the article, Floods and the Effect on the Economy and You, published in The Balance on April 3rd, 2019. She states that 90% of all natural disasters in the United States were due to floods. In 2017, floodwaters killed 116 Americans. Between 1980 and 2013, $260 billion in damages in the U.S. alone from floodwaters. The Mississippi River flood of 2011 was one of the most historic in our time, costing Southeast Missouri farmers millions in losses. Food and gas prices spiked. We were paying up to $3.98 per gallon for fuel in this area. Mark Bliss, author of Relentless Flood, Swamps Towns, Turns Roads into Lakes 25 years ago this summer, shared photographs in the Southeast Missourian of the flood of '93. These photos show flood and farmland in Cape Girardeau County that was completely underwater. In this photo, the U.S. Coast Guard escorts health officials to see if anybody in flooded neighborhoods need medical assistance. Ironically, this photo here is marked with a pink X, and that is where we all stand today. As I have told you, Mississippi River winds for more than 2,000 miles, taking up water and snowmelt of rainfall for 40% of this nation. Many parts of that watershed will still produce copious amounts of water this spring. This, coupled with spring storms and high river levels, could result in major flooding in this region. With any luck, if the Mississippi River does flood, it will not be as costly or devastating as it was in 1993. Thank you.
Thank you.